Here's the text of Paul Harvey's 1978 So God Made a Farmer speech, which inspired the Ram Trucks Super Bowl ad that has resonated so much with the Americans. And this is the way Paul Harvey said it in 1978. His true and honest words. And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, and then go off to town and stay past midnight to the meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. I need somebody with arms strong enough to wrestle a calf and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to call hogs, tame cantankerous machinery, come home hungry, wait to have lunch until his wife's done feeding visiting ladies, and tell the ladies to be sure to come back real soon, and mean it. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of a car tire, who can make harness out of haywire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, and who at planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, then pain from tractor back, put in another 72 hours, so God made a farmer. God had to have somebody willing to ride the ruts at double speed to get the hay in ahead of the rain clouds and yet stop in midfield and race to help when he sees the first smoke from a neighbor's place. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to tame lambs and wean pigs and tend to pink-comb pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour and splint the leg of a meadowlark, and had to be somebody who plowed deep and straight and not cut corners, somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk and replenish the seed self-feeder and finish the hard week's work with a 5-mile drive to church. Somebody who baled a family together with the soft bonds of sharing, who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with simple eyes when his son says he wants to spend his life doing what his dad does. So God made a farmer. Hello, I'm Jim Canarium, and this is Meet Your Cape Cod Farmer. We are broadcasting on the Cape Media Local Access Channel number 99. And today our show is about buy fresh, buy local, reasons why we should buy fresh, buy local. And I have the distinguished pleasure of being accompanied by Bill Clark, Tasha Ramos, and Russell Norton. Bill, buy fresh, buy local. How long ago did we start that in this county?
Buy fresh, buy local, roughly 5 years or so?
5 years, yes.
And we have a mission, I guess.
Mission is to connect people on Cape Cod with their food source. And not only directly, but indirectly, I guess, through restaurants and businesses that sell local products.
Right. And do you have like a membership program, or do you have is it emails that you send out, or is it?
I'll defer to Tasha. She actually keeps the membership going and runs the program. So.
Well, I have said in the past that behind every successful man there is a woman making you look good. So I guess that would be Tasha.
That's definitely
Tasha,
the case here.
Let's get right into the meat of the subject here.
Okay.
I know that you took over from another woman that had started this program.
Jessie Gunnard.
Jessie Gunnard, and she is. She took this as far as she could and had other interests in her life, and now that Bill's more in control. What is it you do? You're all over the place, but what is it you absolutely do for the farmer like me, or for the restaurants, or for the public that wants to know activities or what is available at certain farms and certain times of the year?
So we have a few ways that we do that. The biggest thing that we have is our website, which is buyfreshbuylocalcapecod.org. So on the website, we have a listing of all of our members, restaurants, farmers, fishermen, B&Bs, retail locations, and they all have profiles up there with links back to their website. So consumers can go onto our website and they can see what farmers are in their area, what they're selling, how to connect with them, link over to their websites, and go and buy some food. And we also have a section on there that is news and events. So any events that are going on the Cape that have to do with local food will be posted up there. Any specials or news that our members have going on will also be posted there. So a big thing for us is our website. We also have a monthly newsletter, which goes out now to almost 3,000 subscribers. So those are people who have signed up because they want information about what's going on. So anybody can go onto our website and sign up for that, and every month they'll get all the information about what's going on with local food, recipes, events, again, any specials, a new farmer's got a CSA out, things like that.
Well, nice. To be a member of Buy Fresh, Buy Local, is there a cost involved in that, or is it just farmers and value-added people, or is it just the whole, everybody in general?
Definitely not everybody in general. You have to be either a grower, whether that's agricultural or aquaculture, on Cape Cod, so Cape-grown products. If you're on the other side of the business and you're a restaurant or a retail market, you need to be consistently buying from local growers. So those are our requirements, and actually this year, for the second year, we're happy to say there is no membership fee to join the program. We want the program to be available to everybody who is growing on the Cape and buying locally on the Cape.
Good. This might be a good time for me to ask Bill. You are in a department at the county level.
Yes.
And if you'd like to explain to us, what is it that Bill Clark does? Bill Clark, you're everywhere. So there's a lot involved at the county level, and you're just one little piece of that pie. Explain what Bill Clark's responsibilities are.
Okay, I serve as the director, the department head of Cape Cod Cooperative Extension. And as you said, we are a department of Barnstable County government. The reason why we can offer free memberships to Buy Fresh, Buy Local is, to their credit, the county commissioners and the Assembly of Delegates who approve our budget have a commitment to local. And they allowed a percentage of our budget to be used to promote local. It's an economic development opportunity for the county. Open space, farms provide open space, economic development, quality of life issues, etc. So it's all good. But anyway, what do? I serve as the director of Cooperative Extension. We have 17 staff members. Staff range from 4-H to food and nutrition, food safety, to agriculture, horticulture, to marine science, to deer tick and other deer tick and Lyme disease programs, as well as other zoonotic diseases. So we have quite a range of programs that we offer, and I serve as the coordinator and director of the department, as well as my background's in botany and soil science, plant and soil science. So I also serve a role in providing technical assistance to farmers, green industry folks, as well as natural resource folks. Right.
Well, at that point, we'll hold off at that point where you said soil sciences and plant nutrition and things like that. Russell, you have been fortunate to replace Roberta Clark, who had been in a position with the county for a long time. What is your role in all of this, in farming and backyard farming and gardening and everything on the Cape?
Yeah, so this is my work in Cape Cod Cooperative Extension as a horticultural extension educator. It's my goal to bring unbiased research-based information both to the homeowner and to the green industry. So whether you're a landscaper, a farmer, a grower, or just someone that is a landowner, provide them with a technical assistance to have them grow sustainable crops.
Right.
So whether it's your tree in your yard or your field of lettuce, to give you the information so you can be sustainable both profitably and environmentally.
All right. when you say services and things like that, they can call you, they can contact you, you'll set up an appointment for them to either come to you or you'll go to them, or?
Yeah, it's pretty kind of open for growers. I run a couple things. We have the horticultural clinic, which is run by the master gardeners. That's there at our office, where you can bring in samples, plant samples, insect samples, weed samples, for identification purposes. We also do site visits. So if you're a farmer and you have a question about a pest on your crop, you can call me up. I can come out there, help you identify it, and then work through a control strategy for you. You can also call me, so there's lots of options there.
Right.
Other things, educational programs. So I also do a fair number of educational programs. I got a couple coming up that are be useful for farmers, a tree fruit and small fruit series. So kind of work on all aspects.
Good. And what's your expertise? What is it that Russell really knows that's viable to the Cape Cod industry?
So my background is in fruit and vegetable production and greenhouse production mainly, and specifically more on IPM, so integrated pest management. So I deal a lot with pests and control strategies for those pests. That's
Now, as an educator and as a scientist type person, do you advocate organic, do you advocate commercial, or do you advocate a little bit of both? What's your position?
I don't push one way or the other. It's really up to, in the case of farmers, it's up to the grower and to meet the demands of their consumer.
Right.
I definitely always push for sustainable, so environmental friendly, and IPM strategies. So there's a specific methodology that you go through for IPM to determine how to control pests and
now,
using all aspects.
Do you have a phone number or a website or something?
I do. You can call me at 508-375-6692, and my email is rnorton, N-O-R-T-O-N, at barnstablecounty.org.
Great. Well, Bill, I had said on a previous show that agriculture started here in Barnstable and Plymouth County 400 plus years ago. Give us a little history on agriculture on Cape Cod, if you can enlighten us with the cranberry industry and everything and how it goes.
Cranberry industry actually started here. The first commercial bog was operated by the Halls in Dennis, and actually Captain Henry Hall built clipper ships in Sussex Harbor, and they used to harvest wild cranberries in the swamps and package them up and send them off with the sailors over to England, and just as a way of preventing scurvy, vitamin C deficiency. One year, Captain Hall noticed that the sand blew off the beach onto his bog, and in subsequent years he had a better crop. So that began the practice of sanding, so to speak. But also that better crop allowed him to not only provide fruit for his sailors, but go on the open market and sell it.
Right.
So that began the industry, so to speak. The industry was always in the Cape. We had, unfortunately, at one time we had 6,000 acres in production, and we only have about 1,200 acres right now in production.
Right.
And that goes with the development of the Cape. So the industry was started here and moved west and throughout southeastern Mass. A lot of the swamps and wetlands back in the colonial days were dug for iron ore. They didn't have iron mills like we do today.
Right.
And they harvested the iron out of the bogs for tools for farms, for weapons, so old iron sides, the cannons and old iron sides.
Here on the Cape?
Here, well, throughout southeastern Mass.
No kidding.
Yeah, so they left these disturbed wetlands, and it was followed by them being graded and planted to cranberries.
Right. Was there any other agriculture on the Cape?
Absolutely. The Cape was known for its strawberries at one time. Falmouth alone produced about 28 million quarts a year. The old timers used to tell me how they would be train loads leaving the Cape. We were #1 growers east of the Mississippi. Then came World War II, and a lot of the farmers went off to war. And when they came back from war, the vacation destination of Cape Cod became popular.
Right.
And a lot of the farms turned into homes and cottages, unfortunately.
Right.
as well as other crops like East Ham turnips. Asparagus was popular in Orleans and East Ham area. But there were scattered poultry operations, dairy operations all over the Cape that unfortunately don't exist anymore. We don't have any dairy farms.
No.
Very few large, we have no real large poultry operations, a lot of small poultry operations. But today's farms are smaller, more greenhouses, obviously, and there's a lot more ornamentals grown today than back in the day.
Ornamentals, what do you mean by ornamentals?
Flowers, shrubs, hanging baskets, because another big market for growers is the home landscape.
Right. Under Massachusetts general laws, nursery stock, which right to farm and things, nursery stock falls under agriculture and flower annuals, growing annuals and perennials, Christmas tree farms, horse farms, cranberry grower, oysters, aquaculture.
Aquaculture's really taken off.
Right. Why don't you give us a little history about the aquaculture? You know, there's a Katuitt oyster, and you hear about
There's
the
about
Wellfleet.
200 shellfish farms on the Cape. The farm gate wholesale value is roughly 20 million to our economy. Most economists suggest that you triple that number to get the real number. So it's about $60 million industry. And that number comes from all the businesses that supply to the growers. If they sell to an oyster to a restaurant, that oyster is again marked up, obviously, to pay for the truck driver that brought it there, the kitchen help, the wait staff that served it, and so forth. So it's about a $60 million industry.
Right.
And actually, it's not a new industry. If you read Thoreau's book, he talks about the oysters being grown in Wellfleet.
Wellfleet oysters are known all over the world, like our ocean spray cranberries.
Exactly.
They're consumed all over the world, Japan, China.
Every day, quahogs, oysters are sent all over the country from Cape Cod.
That's amazing. That's
Agricultural
amazing.
Research Corporation sells to San Francisco, St. Louis, New York, all over the country.
Right. And that's all on this little island where agriculture started 400 years ago.
Exactly.
And we're still very active in agriculture.
Yes.
But we don't see the dairy barns and the silos, and we do not see the open fields. We see a lot of invasive plants, and you know, through the land preservation program that all these towns and the county and the state has come up with, we really haven't maintained a lot of this open space that we've acquired for public.
That's one of the limitations to getting into farming is affordable land.
Right.
It's hard to pay the price that land's going for and sell tomatoes and make a profit.
Right.
It's impossible. So if you're lucky enough to inherit land or lease a piece of property, then you'll farm.
Right.
If not, it's going to be difficult.
Right.
I'd love to see some of the land trusts and town conservation departments lease more of their property when it's possible, inappropriate to farmers.
It's and agriculture is considered an open space.
Absolutely.
Which a lot of towns don't.
The county has a 100-acre farm.
Right, and that's Cape Cod Organics. It's Tim Friery. He's an excellent farmer, and he's you know, he's down there 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Not all 100 is farmed. Probably half of that is farmed.
Right.
But it's a good use of the land. It's open space. It's water recharge. It's earning money. It's providing jobs.
Right.
It's all good.
And that gets back to this buy fresh, buy local.
The money stays right here on the Cape.
The money stays, and the object is to everybody to make a sustainable living, to be able to live on Cape Cod, because let's face it, it's not cheap to live here. You know, your average home is $300,000. If you're going to buy an acre of land, then an acre of land is, you know, $100,000 if it's developable. There's a lot of programs where some of these large parcels have put some of their land in an APR program, agricultural, you know, like the trusts and things like that. Somebody buys the developmental rights and leaves it open. Tasha, let's ask some questions to you. getting back to this buy fresh, buy local. Why is buy fresh, buy local? What does, if somebody comes to my farm, Miss Scarlett's Blue Ribbon Farm, and buys a turkey at Thanksgiving time or a chicken for a 4th of July barbecue, what's the impact when they've done that? Especially to the farmer and to the person that bought it. What happens?
Well, it just goes back to everything that we've been talking about here. If somebody is buying a turkey that you raised, it's helping create a living for you. It's creating, again, the farm open space on the Cape, which is wonderful for everybody here, and helps us preserve open space and see less strip malls going up everywhere. And there's also a health factor involved. The food is fresh. It's homegrown. There's a statistic running around that says the average piece of produce, say a tomato, travels 1,400 miles before it gets to your supermarket. And you think about the nutrient content of a tomato that's grown, mass-produced, and is traveling across the country to get to your supermarket. The environmental impact of that, the environmental footprint of that, trucking things across the world. And then when it gets to you, it's not fresh, and it doesn't taste the same. And so it's kind of a domino effect, and when we keep dollars here on the Cape circulating in our own economy, it's a win-win for everybody here on the Cape. And there's also, I think, an emotional, hopefully, connection with food. I mean, food is a beautiful thing, and if you learn and you're able to meet the person who grows your food, and you share in that experience, and you share that with the eating of the food as well, it's nice and gets back to nutrition. We also have nutritionists on staff, and they work with us on Buy Fresh, Buy Local, and they're out at farmers markets doing demonstrations and things like that, teaching people how to eat locally, hopefully more year-round, and they can say, yes, this is a tomato and it's great for all these economic reasons and environmental reasons, and here are also the nutritional reasons why it's good to eat, this close to home. Now,
Buy Fresh, Buy Local, they have a couple events or meetings. You have a meeting coming up in April.
We do. That's an annual meeting for members and potential members to come and meet each other or reconnect, talk to each other. And what we hope to do there specifically is put buyers in touch with growers. And that's where I hope that part of the program will grow more and more, so that a chef can come to you and say, oh, I really want to use, Thai basil next year. Well, can we have this or can we have that? So you're creating that steady market also for farmers who could sell to restaurants, who could sell to retail places as well. A lot of little markets and things like that we hope will carry more local produce rather than buying from, Costco or...
Right. And you also have farm events or visits.
Sure.
Do you do that twice a year or once a year?
Last year we did it twice, but I think this year we're going to go back to once. But we do in the fall a harvest celebration, and we just organize a day and promote special events that all of our different farmers are doing, so people can go out, go to the farm, see what's going on, have a good time, make a scarecrow, have a tractor ride, and just connect with their local farmers and build those relationships, community relationships.
So if they want to get a hold of you, Tasha, how do they get a hold of you and get more information?
They can always go to our website, buyfreshbylocalcapecod.org. Anybody can telephone me, 508-375-6697. My email is up on the website, phone number, everything. The membership, if anybody wants to become a member, all those membership materials are right up online. You can download them, fill them out, send them in. We'll get you going. It's very easy.
Thank you, Tasha. Russell.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to add before we go back to our...
We talked a little bit about open space, and I think one of the most overlooked things about the importance of open space is the the tourist industry on Cape Cod. People come to Cape Cod. It's the largest industry on Cape Cod. Open space is a huge driver of that tourist industry. So by providing farmland in other ways, it has a direct impact on that industry as well.
Right.
And I don't think that should be overlooked.
Right. If anybody has any horticultural questions or wants to get involved in some of these educational series that Russell puts on, you can get a hold of him at the Cape Cod County Extension. Bill, I would like to thank you for coming out today, and Russell and Tasha. Being a farmer on the Cape, it's very important to know that services are available to the average farmer, the backyard farmer, through the Master Garden program, and through some of the regulatory process that the average person didn't even know that you had to know. You had to learn about light pollution and poultry and manure this and composting, and have to have a pesticide license to apply the stuff that kills bugs or weed control and things like that. Is there anything that you'd like the public to know about anything?
Well, I guess I guess I'll give a little story. I tell this story to my classes. I teach part-time at, like everybody else in the Cape. I have 2 jobs, and I teach at the community college at night. And I teach botany and soil science. And so it's one thing to take it every week and take the lectures and then take a quiz and pass it. But I tell my students that the real quiz, the real final exam comes when you're a farmer. Because those peppers that you see at the supermarket or you probably see at the farmer's market didn't just get there. They came as a result of lots of science. The science of the soil, preparing the soil properly,
right,
developing it properly, providing the right nutrients. Once the plant grows, making sure that it's free of diseases, insects. Actually, we don't say control them, manage them. You know, there are disease-resistant varieties. There's ways to minimize pests by proper cultural methods. So that's the final exam, and farmers are out there every day. They're dealing with it. It's weather-driven. And as you mentioned, there's lots of regulations. If you're near wetlands, there's wetlands restrictions, and rightly so. Wetlands are extremely
Absolutely,
important.
there has to be a balance.
And extremely important to the Cape's water supply and wildlife, and there's a lot of interest of the wetlands that we need to protect. And farmers have to abide by those. Food safety regulations, when people come to your farm stand or go to the farmer's market.
That's GAP, good agricultural practices.
They expect to have clean, safe produce.
Right.
Tasha mentioned earlier about our nutrition staff. They also provide food safety classes. And they are certified food safety instructors and provide this type of training for farmers as well, should they want to participate in how to provide clean, safe food. That's another advantage to knowing your farmer and having local food.
Right.
You don't know where it came from, you know, where that spinach was raised, if it came from Arizona or New Mexico or Florida. It's when they go to your farm, they know you.
That's right.
They see you. They look you right in the eyes, and they expect, you know, oh gee, this is you planted that seed.
And if there's a problem, 99% of the time, we'll take care of it.
Yep, exactly.
It's not standing in line and Stop and Shop and having somebody that doesn't know anything about it deal with it.
People don't appreciate what it takes to raise food.
Right.
You walk through any supermarket and you see those. I just recently was looking at, they had peppers on sale at a local store, and there was a woman near me when I was looking at the peppers, and I said, look at these things, aren't they beautiful? I mean, they really are. They're a work of art. I mean, and they're clean.
They're a miracle.
They are. They really
It's a
are.
miracle.
And apples. Try to raise apples. It's a challenge.
Right.
It really is, and to get good, clean, quality apples.
Well, we've come to the conclusion of today's show of Meet Your Cape Cod Farmer. I've been honored to have Bill Clark, Russell Norton, and Tasha Ramos from the Barnstable County Extension. And to their credit, they are the ones that are behind the scenes that make farmers such as myself and E&T Farms and Cape Cod Organics and everybody else successful, because they can come in, they're a different set of eyes, and to look at something where you thought you were on the right track, and it was something simple and it took minutes to solve instead of weeks. Again, I thank you for coming. Buy fresh, buy local, get smart, get local. See ya. I'm Farmer Jim. And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.